Dante, once named Louis Dante, is known among the Imperium as the Lord of Angels and the bringer of sanguineous light. He serves as both the chapter master of the Blood Angels and the Lord Regent of the Imperium Nihilus. His reign as chapter master has lasted over 11 centuries, adorned in golden power armor. Dante bears the death mask of Sanguinius beneath his iron halo, a sacred relic said to mirror the face of the Primarch Sanguinius at the moment of his death during the final battle with Horus. By the end of the 41st millennium, Dante has lived more than 15 centuries, making him the oldest known living loyalist space marine, save for those preserved by the dreadnought sarcophagi, stasis fields or other arcane technologies. Born in 447 millennium 40, he carries the weight of 1552 years of war and duty. Today, we walk beside the Golden Warrior through blood, fire, and prophecy. To countless worlds across the Imperium, the Adeptus Astartes are mere myth, stories told in hushed tones or fevered prayers. For those who do know of them, knowledge often comes through bloodshed, as space marines descend upon battlefields in fire and fury when rebellion erupts or Xenos invade. Among these warrior legends, one name travels farthest through the void, spoken with awe and reverence in every shadowed corner of the galaxy: Dante, Lord of Angels, bringer of light, bane of demons. In the twilight of the Imperium, it is Dante who leads the Blood Angels, bearing the title of Lord Commander. He stands as a living embodiment of his chapter's ideals: honor, sacrifice, and duty. Yet beneath the radiant gold of his death mask lies a soul worn by centuries of sorrow. He is not untouched by the burden his chapter carries, nor by the weight of the long wars he has endured. Dante has led the Blood Angels as chapter master for more than 1,000 standard years, having served even longer in their ranks before rising to command. His name appears in every major imperial archive, his deeds outshining those of entire chapters formed in the final centuries of the 41st millennium. Even Captain Lysander of the Imperial Fists, who drifted for a millennium through the warp, remembered no time when Dante was not the master of Baal. His record of victories spans centuries and stars, and yet within the Imperium's myth-shrouded histories, fact and legend intertwine. In a galaxy fragmented by cultures, dialects, and beliefs, even truth becomes a matter of interpretation. But Dante does not pause to reflect on how he is remembered. He does not seek to shape his legend. His focus remains on his duty, to stand unwavering as the shield of humanity in its darkest hour. The one who would become Dante began life as a child named Luis, born to a man named Arias, on the harsh, irradiated wasteland of Baal Secundus in 447 millennium 40. His childhood was shaped by the Salt Waste, a realm far from any settlement, where radiation storms and mutated beasts were daily trials. At the age of 7, Luis lost his mother. Her death stirred something in him, and within a few years, he left his father behind to pursue the path of the angel. Malnourished and small even by Baalite standards, Luis bore the scarred skin common to those raised beneath Baal Secundus's poison skies. Despite the distance and danger, he attempted the treacherous journey to Angel's Fall. Like many before him, he collapsed, overcome by thirst. Yet in that moment of near death, he beheld a radiant figure, golden and winged, who offered him water. It was the first of 4 such encounters with the being he would later know as the Sanguinor. Eventually, Louis reached the place of choosing, where 500 boys underwent the trials of selection. At first, he stood out in no way, neither the strongest nor the fastest. Luck allowed him to pass the first winnowing, but it was his quiet determination that earned him the respect of his peers. In the trial of war, Louis led his group to victory with calm precision, yet the needless killing among the aspirants filled him with revulsion. The same resolve guided him in the trial of Horus, where he refused to kill a fellow aspirant. His mercy granted him a place among the chosen. Louis was taken to the fortress monastery on Baal, where he faced the final test, the winnowing of weariness. For 3 days he remained awake, battling exhaustion. On the last day, as his body faltered, he again encountered the Sanguinor, who gave him strength to endure. He was then brought before the sanguinary chalice, from which he drank the blood of Sanguinius. Entrusted to a sarcophagus, he entered the year-long sleep during which his body would accept the gene seed. It was during this sacred sleep that the sanguinary priests first took special note of him. While all aspirants dreamed the visions of the Primarch's life and death, Louis thrashed violently in his slumber, screaming the names of fallen Primarchs and ancient horrors. At times, it seemed he hovered between waking and sleep, never fully entering either. The lid of his sarcophagus was found scarred by his hands, evidence of a torment so fierce it had nearly broken free. Yet, when the time came, he emerged, transformed. The frailty of Baal Secundus was gone, replaced with a flawless angelic form. Among the priests, some feared this torment foretold an early fall to the red thirst or the black rage. Others saw in his survival a sign of greatness. From that day, he was no longer Louis. He was Dante. If the fires of this tale burn bright, don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support helps this channel grow and brings more stories from the stars to life. The more lore lovers we gather, the more epic our journey becomes. Dante's rise was never foretold. Among the Blood Angels, it was whispered that his path was never meant to reach command. Yet fate led him to ascend from line officer to Lord Commander in the midst of tragedy. When the chapter faced ruin during the Ghost War and later the catastrophic Callius insurrection, it was Dante, then a young brother captain, who helped lead a brutal counterattack. In the end, he stood as the last captain alive. The surviving sanguinary priests and chaplains elected him as chapter master. Clad in sacred golden artificer armor, Dante assumed command during what should have been the chapter's final hour. Instead, Dante led them into a new golden age of war and defiance. Though he rarely removed his death mask beyond Baal's walls, the galaxy came to know him as a mythic figure, distant, radiant, and relentless. While Logan Grimnar, inspired with wisdom, and Marnius Calgar earned respect through strategy, Dante descended from the heavens as a spear of fire, ending rebellions and striking down demon lords. It was he who banished Karbrand at the gates of Pandemonium. It was he who liberated Therion from the Night Lords and the Brotherhood of Darkness, a world that now bears a towering statue in his image. Through campaigns across Macaria, Jonol, and beyond, Dante became a symbol of the Blood Angels' fury. During the Second War for Armageddon, he turned the tide by rallying Imperial defenders, crushing the Orcs at Acheron Hive, and capturing the traitorous planetary governor von Straub. A generation later, his name echoed in reverence across the system. When the Third War erupted, Dante was too distant to return, but he sent Captain Tycho and the Third Company in his stead. Dante has shattered traitor fleets, slain champions of the Dark Gods, and sealed their cursed relics in stasis. To his fellow chapter masters, he embodies courage and discipline. To Imperial generals, a trusted sword arm, and to the masses, a golden god. In battle, Dante is always the vanguard, leading the sanguinary guard. Centuries-old warriors in matching gold plate, he strikes first, his axe mortalis and perdition pistol ending foes before they can act. Even without his praetorians, Dante leads personally, sometimes even at the side of sergeants. Those chosen to fight beside him mark their armor in honor of the privilege. Beneath the mask lies a face shaped by 15 centuries of war. Though still bearing the grace of sanguineous blood, his face is worn by time, hair turned white and eyes dulled by endless conflict. He sees the Imperium not as a realm to save, but as a light to keep burning, if only a little longer. During the devastation of Baal, Dante stood firm against High Fleet Leviathan. After sacrificing shield worlds of Cryptus, he fortified Baal and its moons, launching preemptive strikes and calling all successor chapters to aid him. All but Lamenters answered, even the exiled Knights of Blood. Still, it was not enough. Wave after wave of tyrannies descended, overwhelming the defenders. Baal's moons were ravaged, and Baal itself became the last redoubt. 5 chapter masters fell in the Dome of Angels. As the Blood Angel prepared for their final stand, the sky cracked, not with Xenos fire, but with the fury of the Great Rift. Then came salvation. As the Tyranids prepared their final strike, Primarch Robout Guilliman arrived at the head of the Indomitus Crusade. Baal was saved. The High Fleet was gone. Upon Baal Prime, where none survived, a symbol remained, 8 pillars of skulls left by the bloodthirster Ka Banda. Rebuilding began. The Arx Angelicum was restored. New aspirants were inducted, and primary space marines from Cole's vaults and new forges swelled the ranks. With Dante named Lord Regent of the Imperium Nihilus by Guilliman himself, the Blood Angels once again took their place at the forefront of the Emperor's War, renewed, reforged, and ready. Despite his victories, Lord Commander Dante carries the weight of centuries with quiet weariness. Age crept into his soul as much as into his form, and the long burden of leadership grows heavier with each passing day. Yet one thing sustains him, the prophecy recorded in the scrolls of Sanguinius. Long before the siege of Terra, the Primarch foresaw a battle of unimaginable scale, where a lone golden warrior would stand between the Emperor and his annihilation. While many believe Sanguinius foresaw his own sacrifice aboard the vengeful spirit, Dante senses otherwise. Whether through some lingering spark of his Primarch's foresight or sheer instinct, he believes that the prophesied warrior has yet to fulfill that role, and he believes that warrior may be him. For Dante, there is no retreat, no peace, not until he stands before the last storm, guarding the Emperor with all he has left to give. He never imagined he would witness the twilight of his chapter, yet he met it with defiance. He never dreamt a Primarch would return, but he knelt before Robert Guilliman with quiet gratitude. When Guilliman named him Lord Regent of the Imperium Nihilus, Dante accepted, knowing that fate had once again placed the burden of survival upon his shoulders. The Imperium stands on the edge of ruin. The Great Rift has cleaved the galaxy, and the stars beyond are draped in shadow. Yet Dante leads the Blood Angels into this darkness, the throne of Terra behind them, and the howling madness of chaos ahead. With him come new hopes, the Primary Space Marines, a future for the Blood Angels beyond slow decline. They are a chance to renew the flame rather than watch it fade. And so, despite the storms that rage and the enemies without number, it is said that Dante has never stood taller. He has vowed to scour the Imperium Nihilus of the chaos that infects it, no matter how long the task endures. If he must fight for another 1,000 years, he will, for in the depth of the night, the brightest light remains the Golden Angel who still leads his brothers to war. Through ages of war and the whispers of prophecy, Dante endures, unbroken, unbowed, and still at the front lines of the Imperium's endless war. If this tale stirred your passion for lore, like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to join our Discord, where a cozy fellowship of lore lovers dive deeper into the myths and battles of the galaxy. This is Liandrug, and the saga continues.